Warning. This show may contain coarse language, awkward silences, incoherent thoughts, inside jokes, misinformation, deep conversations about the nature of existence, depressing themes, as well as some light, offensive humor. Hey, we're people in our early 20s, what do you expect? If any of that bothers you, I don't know, just cover your ears. Anyway, enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 8 Days a Year, the only show where a few mates come together every year to record a year's worth of podcasts in the span of 8 days and slowly upload an episode every week for the following year. It is currently 7 p.m. on the 1st of December 2020, so we're running a little behind.
Yep.
I would say.
Very behind.
But you're probably hearing it on the 29th of January. My name's Jason.
I'm Brandon.
And today's episode, we're celebrating the holiday that the up and coming holiday that is happening on the 2nd of February. So it's in this week time frame, called Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Do you know what that is, Brandon?
Well, I kind of have an idea, thanks to Bambi.
Bambi?
Yeah, so they made reference to Groundhog Day and Bambi.
Right.
Do you like they made like the groundhog come out and like if he saw his shadow, then like what was it, like spring would be coming or something like that, or like
yeah
something like that.
It's something like that. Here, okay. I'll explain it. I'll just read it out, dude.
Yeah, but
Groundhog Day.
You know, even though my accent sounds quite American, I've never celebrated any of the American holidays. Thanksgiving, Groundhog Day, none of that shit. Just it's a fake accent.
Did you explain where you got your accent from?
Not that well. So I went to Brunei to live for like quite a decent chunk of my life, and I went to an international school there, and yeah, that like most of the kids that went there had this accent, and before having this accent, I had this like really strong Australian one, and no one could understand me, so like yeah, I eventually had to change it. But
how old were you when you moved there?
I was like 8. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Is that door closed?
No.
Yeah, you should probably close it.
And I will do so. And we'll keep this in the podcast. Let's do it.
All right.
Just show how flimsy this all is. It's not an actual studio or
That's
anything.
true. It just kind of looks like one because of Jason's posters and whatnot.
So apparently Groundhog Day is where it derives from the Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerging from its burrow on this day, this specific day, sees its shadow due to clear weather, it will retreat into its den and winter will persist for 6 more weeks.
Oh.
But if it does not see its shadow because of the cloudiness, spring will arrive early. So there's a whole holiday dedicated to this dumb superstition that I don't get. And we won't get because it's summer.
Right.
It's not even winter, dude.
Yep.
And we don't have an equivalent for winter at all, dude.
Oh, we do, but like we have a winter season.
Do we have a groundhog that
Oh, no.
No, superstition like that?
I guess we could have a wombat day. A wombat day. But no, that's kind of dumb, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
No, we don't have anything like that over here in Australia.
I don't think that makes any sense whatsoever, dude. Why?
Yeah.
Why does that mean anything? Just a groundhog, dude. But like, I think why we're celebrating it in particular,
right,
is because I think like us as like international people who aren't American, I think the only reference to Groundhog Day that we know, or at least I know, is the film Groundhog Day. The most classic time loop film.
Yep.
Now, I will not go a lot into time travel movies and time loop movies because
we have another podcast for that coming up.
Yeah, there's another one near the end of the year that you'll listen to.
Yep.
And that's gonna be fun. But because I have a weird fascination with time travel.
Yeah, we were going to do a whole other podcast series based off of time travel movies.
But we're gonna do a podcast where we just watched time travel movies and then reviewed and talked about them.
Yep.
And that was it. Every week, that's what we would do. Because there's like heaps of time travel movies out there. Good ones and crappy ones and the whole nine. And everything in between. It's a good... I like the genre. I had, like I said, a weird fascination with time. But this specific film stars... Let me see, Bill Murray, and I don't know the other people. There's like this woman who has like a slightly mannish type of name. Andy McDowell. Don't know it?
Because the thing is, I've never seen Groundhog Day. I've never seen the movie. So I literally have nothing to say about this topic.
Really?
Yeah. But like, it's okay, man. Just what did you think of the film? What did you think of it?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. I thought it got weirdly dark at times.
Okay.
Because of like being stuck in a time loop like that could like it could do stuff. They could make you like pretty crazy.
Right.
Like Bill Murray's character does. But let me explain it to you, dude.
All right.
So there's this guy who is a weatherman, right?
Okay.
I really like just that whole theme, you know, the whole groundhog. Like
What, the weatherman?
No, the whole like it all just kind of connects like nicely.
Oh, okay.
Like being a weatherman actually is. It's sort of like the groundhog is like a sort of weatherman.
Yeah.
In its own way, right? And like he's sort of this asshole kind of guy who's very arrogant and self-centered, and you see that in the opening. And what happens is like he gets assigned to do this thing every year called Groundhog Day because he's the weatherman at a news station. So he drives all the way to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and he has to just report on this dumb groundhog who thinks it can predict the weather. And so who everyone thinks can predict the weather. Or not predict the weather, it's just like whatever he does kind of affects, it kind of is a sign of what the weather's going to be.
Right.
And so like he kind of hates it. He thinks it's dumb and stupid. And so when he goes to bed that night, once he's done everything, and he's kind of an arsehole to his producer, who's like this person who kind of helps him just like in general, just like this sort of kind of manager, kind of assistant kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like when he wakes up the next morning, he hears the same song on the radio, and everyone's like walking in the streets to go to the Groundhog Festival thing. And everyone says the same thing to him. And it's sort of, and it just builds from there. It's like the classic time loop premise film right there. And he goes off and does a bunch of crazy stuff for like God knows how many days that he repeats. There's like theories online, like how many days he repeats, like freaking thousands of days. He just did the same day, dude.
Oh shit.
That would make you go crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I think it'd be sort of fun, dude. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like and slowly he gradually comes to like he comes to grow and not be this sort of asshole guy because he's tried everything to get out of this time loop because he hates it. like he's a he's like he like killed himself multiple times, and he's like died multiple times,
Wow.
but still wakes up on the same day, on Groundhog Day. And like even if he stays up, like he like gets knocked out at like 6 a.m. and like 5:59 a.m. and wakes up at 6 a.m. when he usually does on the same day.
Hmm.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Do not spoil the ending, because I actually feel like I should watch this film now.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it.
Well, what am I going to talk about now, dude?
Well,
I think it's like a subgenre of like the time travel genre. It's like it's its own thing, where the premise is that the same amount of time loops.
right.
But I don't know. I like the premise.
All right.
It's cool, and there's a lot of
Cool.
interesting. There's a fair amount of interesting time loop films. There's Arc, spelled ARQ, which is this weird, fucking, was it futuristic one?
Okay.
Set in one house, which is really interesting. And there's also, I think it's one house, right? And there's also, oh man, what is it? Fucking Naked.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of this one.
It's this one actor. I don't remember who it is. I think it's, no, it's not. Yeah, it's someone. It's like he wakes up in an elevator.
Okay.
Like he always wakes up in the elevator, completely naked.
Okay, this is very interesting. Yeah.
And it's his wedding day, and he has to get to the church where he's got his wedding, and he's just completely naked. And that's
Dude,
how
that was some crazy bachelor party he had. So you were saying how the character in Groundhog Day, he was like an asshole or something like that.
He was pretty self-centered and arrogant,
So
spoiled child kind of person.
right. So like what was your takeaway from that film, I guess? And like, is there anything in that film that you just kind of was like, okay, I could apply that to my life?
I don't know, dude. Because it's like the main character goes through this very unique experience
True.
of being a person who can time loop, like who's been stuck in a time loop.
Right.
But I don't know. I think when, like, I explored some of this in a time loop story that I tried to write. But I think like when you have the ability to do anything and you explore those options. I just sneezed. If we have the ability to do anything basically with no consequences,
Yeah.
because you could basically do that with a time loop. You can fucking die. You can fucking say hi to that girl that you like and see where that goes. But then it wouldn't even matter because it just repeats. The day repeats, and it just cancels out anything you did.
True.
Like, no matter how much you do, like it kind of forces you to think about what you think really matters and like what you really are looking for. Because if you get to literally do anything you want, then you do everything, and then it's like, what do you need though? What is the thing that you need at the end of it all? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I feel that. And I guess I kind of went through a similar situation, but only instead of like going through a time loop, like you said, the time loop was simply just my life and the same problem repeating over and over and over again. And then me finally being like, hold on a sec. Like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the situation that I'm putting myself in all the time. And I want to change that. I don't want to be that person anymore. I think that was definitely what happened when so I won't go into too much detail here, but basically, this there was this incident that happened to me about I'd say like a year and a bit ago, right? And essentially, I wasn't thinking about like the other person's perspective, and I did something that was not that great. It wasn't that great. And I should have been thinking more about other people before I did this, but I didn't. I did it. Definitely regret it. And I lost like a shit ton of friends as a result of that.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. And, it wasn't even like the first time that I hadn't really considered like a friend's perspective before doing something.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that pattern in my life, and seeing the way it affected the people around me, I just realized, yeah, this isn't good. And I've got to do something about it. So I think from then on, I made it like an effort to become a more selfless person that actually thought about other people's perspectives and took those things into consideration before acting, I guess. And yeah, ever since then, like, and you can attest to this, I guess, you've seen me sort of grow and like how I've gained all of these new friends since then, and the type of person that I've become. And it's if it weren't for that one incident where I went through so much pain from losing all of those friends, I don't think I would have really changed the way I behaved. I think, this is going to be a reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which you haven't seen yet, but a quote from that series is, when we're at our lowest is when we're open to the greatest change. And I 100% agree with that, because that's just kind of the story of my life. Obviously, it would be great if I didn't have to go through that and I could just change on my own. But I think human beings are quite experiential learners, and sometimes it really it really does require some people to go through all of that pain and suffering in order to get better and alleviate the pain and suffering in the future. I think Jordan Peterson goes into this a lot, like essentially sacrificing the present for the future so that you have like a better future, essentially. And I 100% agree. Like, that's the reason why we work so hard for our careers, right? It's so that we can eventually have this life where it's all just kind of easy going in the future, right? Like, we want to get to that end point where, I don't know, we all want to like just have that lifestyle where everything's just easy going. You don't really have to care about finances and all that kind of stuff. You really want that financial freedom, but in order to get there, you've got to do like the really hard work, especially in like your 20s, I think, or not. I mean, like anyone, like, you can start your career at any point in your life, right? But I think for me, I'm really happy that I'm like starting to do all these things that are benefiting my career at this early point in my life, so that I can make all of those mistakes and the consequences won't be as dire as perhaps when I'm like 30, and I don't know, who knows, like maybe I'll have kids or something like that at that point, and just more responsibilities in general. And having to take risks at that point, like, probably wouldn't be ideal, not gonna lie. But yeah, what do you think about all that? I know it was a lot to unload there, but
No, I get you. It's like I don't know how. Like I think maybe I'm a little different in that regard.
yeah.
I think like the kind of, and this is gonna sound like really dumb and, and sort of spoiled, but like the kind of workload that I am familiar with and like I'm comfortable with is like I don't know if it's the same. I don't think it's the same as like with sort of you. I don't know if you're like like I think I really don't like spreading myself too thinly. I like having my sort of time where I could be like free time, I guess, and chill time. So I sort of value that. And so I spend, but when I do work, like when I do have things I have to work on, I do try to work as hard as I can. I'm also same time not very organized, but like, yeah, I haven't really, I haven't really put myself all out there in specifically the film, and film and video community kind of thing. My circle has just been people. The areas that I just gather around is just like my university and my classes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But and I sort of, for me, I think I'm an isolated person. I like that, I guess, in that close knit community.
Right.
But like, for beneficial sake for the future, as you were saying, like I haven't really like gone out and done a bunch of internships everywhere and like attend clubs or whatever to do with film and whatnot. And I like, it sounds like it would be beneficial to me, I think, to do those things. But I think I just like, there's this general part of me that just can't be. And that's just how I am, I think. And also like at the time of like filming a bunch of stuff like for uni, it was also like I don't feel like I could have handled more stuff at that time with all the stuff that I had going on with like my different units of like doing a full like documentary and like writing a full-on short story and like producing this entire short film, like directing it, which was insane within itself. But
Right.
I don't know if I would have, had the time or like because like I did put stuff to the side. I used to like, I mean, like I like to read and play some video games and watch movies, but I largely put that to the side when I had, and like when I had my production on, and like also hanging out with you guys, like you and Liam.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I like to value those the alone time and isolation and having me time. But at the same time, I'm still thinking about like the future, of course. Like I've right now, I'm in a place where I'm living with my parents.
Yeah.
And like I sort of do want to, I do want to get out of there in a way. Because yeah, it's nearing the end of my course, and I'm like, I'm sort of I'm an adult now. I'm 20, but like I haven't had the means or the time to like, or like I just haven't gotten to getting a job or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel like it'll be very beneficial for me. Like how like Liam was talking about the different avenues and options of like which direction you could go, right? I feel like my approach would be like he said, like getting a part-time job and then working on your creative field on the side.
He called that the starving artist route.
I like that route, dude. I know it's a bad route. Like, it's sort of bad.
Literally called it the starving artist route, dude.
But, like, I think I've talked to you about this before, but, like,
that's so
I
funny.
sort of... I can sort of live small, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with that, and I'm comfortable... and I just, like, want to be able to create with a lot of creative freedom in that regard. Or you could go the other route of, like, doing smaller roles and other things. It honestly could go either way when I graduate. If I do land something on actual sets, which I feel like is probably a definite possibility since
Right.
a bunch of sets in LA and America fucking closed down.
Yeah.
Australia's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, in comparison to LA, we're pretty good.
Come on, dude. I heard on a podcast that, like, freaking, at least the Gold Coast is like, there's like famous people there or something. I'm like, The Rock is like filming a series there or some crap.
Oh shit.
I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Dude, get on that.
Come on, man.
Get on that COVID set experience.
But that's if COVID lasts in America until next year.
So you want it to last, essentially?
Yes, please. I'm an advocate for... Don't wear masks in America, guys.
Yeah.
If you're in Australia,
Yes.
do.
If
Isolate.
If you're in Australia, please be safe. Isolate.
This is a joke. We do not advocate you dying out there. But kind of do, you know?
Fuck. Do it for Jason, guys. Do it for Jason's career. He's a starving artist.
Because, like, yeah, I do want to, like, get a sort of possibly simpler kind of job.
Right.
Not, like, not simple, but, like, I found, like, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind, like, doing, I don't know, cafe work or something. Just, like, getting, like, having a small thing where you know all the customers. That sounds fun. That sounds like building a community of people.
Yeah.
And, like, gaining skills along the way. And then, like, in my spare time, I can do creative things like writing and whatnot. But, like, yeah, but
I mean, this podcast is kind of like you branching out a little bit with like film and media, right?
yeah,
And you know, in a sense, it is kind of building up your skills for broadcasting at the very least. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And who knows where this will go? Like, it could eventually get super huge, right? Well, I don't think it will, but
neither. But we're still doing it anyway, dude.
Still doing it anyways.
We could, dude. It could be crazy, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of podcasts out there. It's
that's
just
true.
Like, yeah,
we are kind of oversaturated at this point, but
this medium. But I mean, like,
fine.
Film's sort of oversaturated, minus the fact that there's not a lot of films coming out this year. Or there's like TV shows. There's a bunch out there that people just want to. Yeah, it's like. But I think, I don't know. Like, this is a good experience. I like this.
Yeah.
Like this. Like, and I got to attribute it to you as well, because like I honestly like I'm the kind of guy.
Right.
Who, like, I don't have the biggest. You know, like self-efficacy, whatever, the confidence and whatnot. Yeah. But like, I would say that I'm a pretty creative person. A creative person.
You are. You really are.
I have wild ideas. But actually executing them is the thing that holds me back, I guess. Because like...
And we've talked about this multiple times, yeah.
I'm looking at you, Cameron. But like, I just like... I have these like crazy sort of ideas to do things, but not the willpower to actually execute.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, it's too hard or whatever. But like when people push me, then I can do it. You know, I can sort of do it. Yeah.
So pretty, but like that's the thing, right? Like it. You know, I've been reading this book recently, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, and in one of the chapters it says like pick your friends wisely because they will influence you, right? And I've heard from like, I forgot which psychologist this was, But basically they said that your personality is a combination of your 5 closest people. And I think with you hanging out with like Liam and I, for example, some of our like doingness energy is kind of rubbing off on you. You know what I mean? Like Liam and I are quite like visionary people, and we, we do a lot of like goal oriented sort of things.
You're the kind of guys that goes out there and gets it,
Pretty much, yeah. Or at least we try to be. I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'm the best at that. Of course, I have my moments where I procrastinate and things like that. I mean, we're all human, right? But I think our mentalities in that sense have sort of rubbed off on you. And on top of that, when you hit me up about this podcast, like, I wasn't like, dude, it's gonna be so much effort. I'm gonna have to like get a table. I'm gonna have to, have my attic all redecorated and shit. Like, dude, I wasn't like that. I was just like, yes, let's go. Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. And I was surprised. I was like, it's a crazy idea. And you're just like, straight up, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, I didn't think that you'd be this keen, but we're doing it.
And then now you can't back out of it. You're here.
I'm not backing out of it. I'm doing it, dude.
Exactly.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. And dude, it's great. It's awesome. Like, this is the type of shit you need to be doing if you want to move forward in life. At least you're doing something. You know what I mean? And you're not just kind of sitting on your ass doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
And you're, although like you're, using my space or whatever, like, you're also going to be doing the bulk of the work for this podcast because you're going to be like editing it every week for the next year.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of work. And I honestly, like, props to you, man. Like, you're gonna get something out of this, that's for sure. if even if this thing doesn't get big, you're at least gonna get a lot of editing experience. Like, so yeah,
dude,
for sure.
Like, should we talk about like why Liam's not in? We just brushed over that, dude.
Well, I mean, like, he just had to leave because he was just
so
not feeling.
Liam was keen. Liam was keen to do the whole thing, to do all 8 days, 7 podcasts a day.
Yep.
But he just didn't have the willpower, dude.
Yeah.
He just talk shit about.
It's shit about Liam.
Nah, he's just like he's like he's been really tired with a bunch of the work that he's been doing with uni, and I've sort of been doing the same, but like he had a sort of bigger workload because of the extra unit that he has with with a whole different production that was like a hustle of work to do with fucking 5 cars breaking down and like a whole other production report to do. And so like he was just tired, and like he was not he didn't feel like he was on most of the time. So, and I think he didn't realize what he was signing up for, doing 7 podcasts every day.
He was like so down at the start. He was like, let's do it. We already talk for 8 hours a day anyways. Who gives a shit? Like, what's the big deal about a podcast? Gets on, fuck this.
But he was in the first four episodes?
He was.
Yeah, so that's good,
dude, he stuck it out at least for the 4 episodes. So
there you go,
very happy about that.
Like, just keeping track of the time there.
Yeah, it's 35 minutes.
So it's and that's good. Like, he's one of our closest. He's like the LBJ.
Yeah,
and he started it all off, like the whole experience with us.
Yep.
And we'll carry it through. And he'll be here in spirit.
Yep.
We'll keep a picture. We'll keep a blurred picture. We'll keep a sensor right here.
You keep a sensor there.
Just so that, or like whatever on the frame. So he's there in like sort of spirit, We're censoring his spirit. But like,
that's so funny.
It makes me think, dude. Like,
yep.
Where will we be this time next year? And like, will we be able to do this?
What's the date of this podcast that it's coming out again?
No, this time.
Oh,
1st of December, 2021.
Right. Oh.
Are we got to lock that in now so that there's no parties that happen.
Dude, I have no idea if I'm being completely honest. I mean,
I definitely will still be here in Perth. You know,
I'll be moving into my final semester of uni, and like, hopefully at that point I would have done like quite a few internships, got a lot of volunteering experience, and just overall improved my skill set. And I mean, this is all like sort of like very practical things, but when it comes to personal development and emotional development, I hope that by that time I would have found a better sense of self-love, because that is something that I've struggled with, and the book that you and I have been reading, School of Life, that's really pointed it out to me like quite a lot. That self-love is something that I've struggled with throughout pretty much my whole life. Like, I was kind of like a pushover back in middle school and even primary school, to be honest. And I think that's why, dude, this is going to be so like classic and stereotypical, but yes, I got bullied. And you know, I think that was pretty much just me not loving myself enough and taking people's shit. And I feel like I'm starting to get a little better at that, you know, and just sort of like, it's not just about standing up for yourself, I think, but really being on your own side, you know, and looking at yourself and being like, yeah, I'd be that person's friend, you know, like, and realizing that you're a pretty good person. And that,
I know I am. Anyone would be lucky to be my friend, because I'm cool.
Fuck. Yes, you're a good friend, Jason. Yes,
that's right.
You're a good friend.
I know I am.
Okay.
I know I'm the greatest.
Fuck. All right, so that is going the other end of the spectrum of narcissism.
What? It's not narcissism if it's true, dude. I'm just stating facts now, dude.
Oh my god.
I am a legend, dude. I'm literally a legend. I'm the guy with the green shirt at uni, dude. They'll be like, have you heard of the guy with the green shirt, dude?
Yeah.
I'm the guy with the green shirt.
Well, yeah. Well, anyways, back to self-love. Yeah, and there was another part of that section where it was like, you know, how willing are you to take your own side in situations, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean like you can't be wrong. It's just saying like, well, how willing are you to actually help yourself get through that process and you know, support yourself in these tough and difficult situations. Yeah. And I don't know, like, did you find like that whole section on like the self being like quite insightful? Like, what did you think of that section of that book?
Isn't it like sort of shorter than the other one?
It is, yeah.
I think I breezed through a lot of it, but like, I get what you mean. Like, I think that was something that I've sort of dealt with like a lot in my high school and like in university years, I guess. And like, I think so, like I always, you know, there was like this time in high school full of hormones where I sort of had this kind of this self kind of hatred or whatever. Well, I don't know if it's hatred, but just like I just really didn't like myself.
Yeah.
I just thought I was a shitty person or whatever. And I wasn't like a bully or whatever. It's just like I thought that I was never good enough, you know what I mean? I was like it goes back to just like not fitting in and whatnot. I think like not feeling good enough goes back to just like Asian parents and being like my parents
Yes.
expecting more of me or
Oh my
expecting
God.
a lot of me, and like when I do things that are great, like I pull a good thing, and like I do it like a big accomplishment. It's always like, right, cool, yep, well done. I guess it's just like that's expected of you, and it's like not like we don't celebrate
But then when you fuck up, it's like the biggest deal ever. And
exactly.
Even if it's like something really, really small, Asian parents go like, that's an imperfection. We need to breed that shit out. Like we need to beat that shit out of you, quite literally. Or at least that was me for my childhood.
Early childhood.
Yeah. Not my adulthood, actually. Got beat. I still get beat by my mom. I'm joking. I love my mom.
Jokes, dude.
My mom doesn't actually. And my mom was not the one that actually whipped out we called it the rotan. It's like this bamboo stick. And it's like really fucking painful, bro. My dad busted that shit out when I was a kid. And
dude, my one was like, I don't know if it was the belt, but it was like the wooden spoon.
Oh, fuck.
The wooden spoon, dude. But this is like ages ago when it was like...
When it was acceptable.
It
wasn't acceptable.
It wasn't acceptable per se, but like...
No, I'm just kidding.
Like... My parents didn't know any better.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I think it's always the first child that gets like the most toxic parenting, and then like all the other kids get like the less toxic parenting.
Wow.
It's true though. I feel like it is kind of true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I think that definitely probably hindered our self-confidence quite a bit at a very young age. Because we weren't necessarily encouraged to feel good about ourselves in any way, even if we did good things.
Yeah.
And when we did bad things, we were punished very severely. And you know what's really crazy about the book, The School of Life, is the fact that there is literally a section in it that really like encapsulates the child's perspective when a parent is angry and is acting out that anger on a child. The child literally feels like this all-powerful being, aka mom or dad, in that moment has a reason to kill you. Has somehow, I don't know, realize that your existence is at stake, right? And like I think that's so freaking true. Like when I was a kid, and my parents would yell at me or whatever, even if they didn't bust out the fucking bamboo stick, like I definitely felt like, I don't know, it's like that fight or flight response, right? But since you're a kid, it's like always like flight or whatever. And you definitely sort of feel like, okay, my life is in danger. Even though you don't realize that you're feeling that way.
Right.
And that can definitely fuck you up a lot as a kid. So I guess becoming aware of it now as an adult has really helped me to like cope with the trauma that I experienced as a kid, and sort of analyze it, reflect on it, and realize that it doesn't actually need to affect me, that I'm okay with it. And I forgive my parents for the way they treated me. I mean, they didn't really know any better, right?
Yeah.
And they, if anything, they were probably treating me a lot better than their parents treated them.
Yeah.
And that all being said, like, regardless of all the trauma, like, acknowledging all the trauma, like, I still had a pretty decent life. Like, I didn't have to worry about food on the table and, all of that kind of stuff that maybe, you know, some people in like third world countries may have had to go through. Like, I never had to deal with or worry about that. All I had was just a parent that would beat me every now and then. But, like, I think it definitely builds resilience in you, and when you grow up, you find that you can take a lot more shit than you may have thought before. So there's definitely some give and take here, and I'm definitely not advocating that you do this to your kids. Okay, that is not what I'm trying to say, but I'm just trying to make the I don't know, like, I'm just trying to create the most positive perspective out of this as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that works. It definitely works a lot better than going the opposite way around and thinking of yourself as a victim. And thinking that, oh, my parents fucked me up, therefore I will never succeed in life or whatever. Like, that mentality is just not helpful, like, at all, right? You're just kind of gonna, I don't know, wallow in your self-pity and then just not get anywhere, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to be like that. I knew I didn't want to be like that, so therefore I had to change something, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this is it's been a journey, honestly, and it's been one that I'm still on. I'm still getting to the level of self-love that I want to be, but hopefully in a year's time, like, I'll get there. I mean, no expectations or anything, because when it comes to emotional intelligence and mental health, like, you can't necessarily put a timer on these types of things, but I can hope.
Right.
I can hope that I will make incremental steps towards that, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, for the longest time, I feel like I've sort of been kind of emotionally aware of, like, how, like, my parents treated me when I was like, going back to what you said, like, how my parents, were specifically my dad, treated me when I was a kid, and how that probably still affects me now. And I think I'm largely starting to get over that. And like for the longest time, it still got to me. I still felt like, like, all of these things that happened to me, like, it's kind of made me this fucking sad little person or whatever. in certain areas of my life, where I would struggle with stuff like self-worth and things like that. And I think one of the biggest sort of eye-opening experiences for me was when I had this sort of film get screened, and it was, I don't know what it was. It was like sort of different to every other kind of screening that I had, right?
Right.
Like prior of like because like we create films and they screen it for like a crowd of people, being an audience of people's parents and actors, and more students, and that's about it. And so, like, when, like, I don't know what was different about it this time, but like when I was driving home, I sort of realized I sort of had this, like, and it's not trying to be self-centered or anything, but it's just like, I was like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
And like it sort of made me sort of feel a little bit better about myself. And like, of course it's a team effort, right? But then it's like, people really loved the film and loved the storytelling of it, and the topic. Did. And like, I think for the longest time, when people told me that, right, it was always like this weird psychological thing where I was like, they don't know the whole story. I'm actually a really shit person who's not very talented at all. and this was like a sort of one-off that was kind of decent, and people are just over-exaggerating. And that's like weird, my weird psychological twisting of all those, the sort of praise or whatever that I get. Or, you know, yeah. And like, I think not until now, and it's not like I'm like arrogance, like self-centered now, whatever, but it feels like for the first time, it feels like, you know what? Yeah, I can be proud of myself for this. And I did good. And you know, that production was actually pretty decent as well. Like it wasn't necessarily this really rushed thing. There was definitely problems in the editing suite when we had messed a few things up, but that's kind of normal. It's kind of normal. In some ways if you don't keep an eye on it, but like when it's like split second things that audiences might not see. Like you probably didn't see it.
I didn't.
But like it's, but now I just feel like we did pretty well on that, because like we organized everything pretty early, shot everything in time, in the time period we wanted, and we left like a decent amount of room for editing, which was really great because our editor was like he has a part-time like full-time / part-time job. Yeah. And like it was pretty tight for him. But it wasn't as tight as Perfect Red, you know?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The film that me and
Liam did. Yeah.
It was like we spent like fucking like 20. I tell this story all the time to everyone.
Yeah.
I spent over 24 hours at uni and I didn't go home. I slept at uni. At the end of the editing period, I just drove my car near to where the theater was going to be, and I slept for an hour or two in my car, and I was sweating like a dog. I woke up, went to the screening, and I was tired like all hell. And people liked it. I'm like, damn, straight. Some people thought it was the best one at the screening. I'm like, damn right.
Can I be honest? It definitely was.
And I also attribute it to like Liam's like amazing skill with like cinematography. He's great. He did such a wonderful job with what we had. Which wasn't a lot. We had my house and his mom's workplace, but like, fucking did it, dude.
Yeah,
it's great.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm slowly getting there. I think slowly, kind of getting the confidence and the strength to just be like, yeah, you know what, I can do it. I'm not gonna be cynical about it and say like, you can never do it, Jason, or whatever, you know? Like, be, like, so pessimistic all the time. Yeah. I would always be that way. But I think slowly, and like you were saying, like, it's, like, rubs off on people and whatnot. Yeah. Like, your friends. And I think I'm sort of getting more optimistic and positive.
Hold on. Just give me a sec. Hold on. There we go.
All right.
And we're back. Sorry about that. Had a bit.
So talking about being optimistic.
Yeah. You so you gained a lot of confidence from
I think
that
so.
film.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's early steps. I think that was really sort of big for me. I think, and it's there's been a sort of shift in my perspective since, since I. Yeah. Oh. Should we talk about that?
I mean, dude, we got 5 minutes left on this podcast.
So maybe not.
We can talk about that on the next one. Stay tuned for next week when Jason talks about.
But yeah, it's like it's been great, I think.
Yeah, awesome.
And like I've been hanging out with some old mates again, which has been great, and I've been like more open and like going out of my comfort zone in a few ways, which is it's great. I'm trying new things.
That 5-day bender was definitely that was something I did not expect you to do.
It wasn't like we didn't drink heavily every night, but
you were drinking every night.
I was pretty sure I drank every night.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'll drink a lot tonight, guys, but I did anyway.
Yeah, it's chill. It's whatever. You gotta
alright.
experience it at some point, right?
It was actually really great. The bend, it was really great. It wasn't like just all drinking. We did a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Casino, went to a buffet. It was great. We went to a bar,
That's sick.
an
That's
arcade
sick.
bar, Palace Arcade.
Okay.
You should go there, dude. It's actually fun.
All right.
You get pizza, alcohol, and there's a bunch of arcade games that you can play.
We had a similar thing with the Airbnb, right? Remember that? Oh wow, memories.
Did we drink every night?
We did.
Did we?
Every single night. Yeah.
I think we did.
We did, dude. There were 3 nights that we stayed there and we drank every single night.
The last night we got pretty. Stacy got pretty. Stacy died.
Dude, Stacy. When she's drunk, she's something else.
Your baby. She turned to a baby, dude.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
You could not talk.
She was just shivering in the corner, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's great, dude. It's great.
All right.
And I've slowly, and like, I think it comes back to also slowly becoming more comfortable with like not crushing over girls as much as I did before. You know, and being like more comfortable in like my own company and with myself.
I feel the same way.
Exactly,
dude. This is it. This is the journey. This is the journey of self-love.
We're on our way, dude.
We're doing it.
We're on our way.
It's awesome. But I think we can wrap it up in
How many?
Oh,
What time is it?
it's 56.
Let me just talk about one more thing as well.
All right.
It's like what I was getting at before is like where we would be like logistically
Oh,
this
right.
time next year.
Logistically. Okay.
And like specifically Liam.
right.
like he and like I don't want to get too much detail, but he said he wanted to move, right?
No, actually.
Did he not?
Well, pretty much he can't.
Oh, right.
COVID.
Oh yeah, right.
Did you forget?
I just forgot COVID existed.
That there was a pandemic.
I just forgot that COVID existed for like. We talked about it today.
Yeah, we talked about it.
It's just
today.
like because he's sort of talked about it for a fair amount of time.
Yeah, well, I talked to him about it in private, and maybe we shouldn't be talking about him without him here. But
I know.
pretty much, I'm pretty sure he's gonna either stay in Perth or at least live like within Australia or whatever. Yeah,
Because like
yeah,
I was thinking with like the initial idea of this podcast, like, and I say it in the intro every time.
yeah,
Is that every year we're gonna do this?
yeah,
We're gonna do this every year. We'll block out this amount of time.
yeah.
These 8 days. I think it will stay at 8 because putting it any shorter would be insane.
Yeah.
But like these 8 days we'll lock out and like record a show with each other, and it will be like a great kind of experience. You know, a similar experience, like because like I was worrying because like. Sorry, that was just like a whole jump to a different topic. But
Go
like,
for it. Yeah.
what I was like worried about is like we're all going to different places in our lives, and I thought that we like if we did a podcast like that, we're all doing different things. I don't know if we'd all have the time to come in for an hour each week if some of us are busy.
Yeah.
Like spread super thin on a specific.
I mean,
For me, at least, for a specific week.
like you know me, that happens a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially with like university schedules and whatnot.
Yeah.
Where like all the units have the assignments due on the same end of week section.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, like, I thought if we could like lock down these 8 days from the 1st to the 8th of December
right.
every year, and we just do this podcast, it'll be like time. And like, and if we sort of go separate ways and live different places and make new friends and whatnot,
Yeah.
we can come back every year, a tradition. And we do this dumb podcast together.
Yeah.
And
It's great.
that
It's a
was
great
my
idea.
idea. And I probably should have explained it early on, but like that was the philosophy of this podcast idea.
Yeah. And, you know, we we have this thing called the LBJ, but we didn't really explain it in super like a lot of detail. But yeah, we already like have these times where the three of us, we get together and we have these really in-depth conversations, and it's really nice to just kind of chill with you guys, you know?
Yeah.
And like, why not turn it into a podcast? You know what I mean?
It's also been a struggle in some ways. Like today, we realized, and Liam realized, when we're just alone with each other, we have this understanding where we could just talk about anything, say some absurd shit, and just be like okay, and like not get too offended by each other or too shocked by anything we say.
Yeah.
And we know that it's not going to leave the room or whatnot, like if we say something like that. But with this podcast, it's sort of different because there is sort of an audience.
Yeah.
Even though we don't think this podcast is going to get massive.
Yeah.
Like this, like someone's going to, like
people that we don't know are going to probably see it.
Yeah. But even, like it's going to be like, we have to monitor everything we say. Yeah. And so like, it's sort of been hard to work through this, I guess. But
yeah, we're doing it, and honestly, it's been pretty
it's a good like experiment. I don't know if anyone's done this before. Is that crazy?
We may be the first. Are we gonna set a record for like the most podcasts filmed in like 8 days or some shit like that?
I think, and like it's crazy because like when someone records a podcast every week, they sort of have like this refreshing time where like they can refresh their brain and then talk about different things the next week. Yeah. But with this time that we have, we're going to like have to keep in mind of all the topics we've gone over. And also like, we're going to sort of run out of things to say because we haven't been going out doing stuff and experiencing life and having experiences. So all that we've got is what we remember immediately in like our past. And we just got to have to mine all of that. It's going to be like this freaking... It's like this treasure trove of everything that's in our minds. Yeah. At this specific point in time.
Just kind of vomited out in 8 days. But
because like I feel like we are definitely going to run out of things to talk about by the end.
Oh, for sure. I think we've already gone into like a lot of deep topics. But you know what? Can I be completely honest though?
Right.
We could easily do like a part 2 of like this, like whatever we've talked about in this podcast. We can easily just do like a part 2, like I don't know, let's get into more shit that we've learned throughout like our self-help journey or whatever, like, you know, reading self-help books and things like that, right? Like we can literally just do like a part 2 of this topic. So I don't know, I don't think that we will necessarily run out of things to talk about, but maybe we may get a bit like slower with coming up with them. You know what I mean? We'll be like, wait, what should we talk about now? I don't know, like kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, that should be good. We're at the hour mark, so
we still haven't had like a concrete outro. We're just rolling with it.
All right.
Whoa, hold up. It's future Jason here, who is editing this and noticed there was never a proper outro call to action at the end of these things. So here goes. Please, if you want to support the show, follow us on whatever podcasting app you use and give us a good rating. If you're watching the videos on YouTube, like and subscribe. Also, share this with your friends too. Doing any of these things would help us out a lot. Thanks. I'll let these guys handle the rest.
Anyway, guys, well, that's our episode. I've been Jason.
And I've been Brandon.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, or for us, the next 5 minutes.
Yup. See you guys. Thanks so much for watching and listening. All right.